Good evening, please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You want to know the history behind that?
History behind what?
That sign,
The one with the
The
allegiance?
pledge.
the pledge sign. Okay?
Sure.
I taught for 30 years in a large junior high school in White Plains, New York. 1,100 students, 3 grades, big place. The assistant principal, I filled in often as assistant principal, but this did not happen on my watch. The assistant principal stands in the office with a mic and has all 1,100 kids scattered throughout 40 classrooms stand for the pledge. She starts in and she forgets the pledge in front of 1,100 kids. The next day they had it written down. All right, thank you for coming. Roll call. John Hotchkiss.
Joe Bailey.
Okay, and John Cleary is excused. Didn't bring a pen. Let's see, minutes from Board of Selectmen meeting dated April 2nd, 2018. Yeah, but she,
They take one?
I don't know.
I have here.
What is that?
Oh,
There you go.
thanks, I'll make sure again.
I didn't know if the thing, but no, I don't want it. I'll make a motion that the minutes be approved as written.
All right, I'll second, I've already read them, so. Any other discussion? All in favor of approving the minutes? Aye. Next, how many of you know that someone was taking notes during the town meeting? It becomes part of the official record. Okay? So now, those minutes have been transcribed,
You're welcome.
written up, and now, as selectmen, we have to approve it. And that's what we're gonna do.
How'd they come out? Did you approve them yet?
They're approving them right now.
Oh.
Right.
We had to wait for the DRA to tell us
Did you
yes.
hear
I was hoping my spelling was okay.
Did you hear about the new law that just passed regarding public meetings?
Nope.
Apparently now you have to not record verbatim, but you have to make a record of all public comments at public meetings.
Thank God for videos.
Yeah.
That's probably
I don't know how they're ever
Wow.
going to enforce anything like that or check on it, but supposedly that's the state law in New Hampshire now.
So for example, Article 17, we are petitioning for access road to be accepted as a town road. Remember that one's one of the last ones.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, it was a vote, so it was done at the beginning. And you said you have to record the comments, okay? This is what Kathleen has done.
Oh, Lord.
Jack Savage makes a motion to approve the articles read. Roger Main approves, and Ken McDonald seconds.
Yours.
Paul Taylor, non-resident, speaks on why he created this petition. Road was plowed a minimum of 10 years and states there are no hills that are more than 10% grade. Rick Washburn states that 1/3 of the road is wakeful and will not maintain. The road is in rough shape, don't want the damage on the trucks. Class 6 road, Jack Savage states there are steps that you can need to reclassify a class road. Okay? Motion of the article do not carry by a vote. But that's, I think, what you mean by who said what and when. And
You're welcome.
you got it, thank you. Okay? So,
Now for
The law is a bit of overkill.
you wanna hear all the rest? There's like
No,
6 or
no.
8 pages here, and I could be 10, I'm sorry.
Got razor cramp.
Is it gonna be posted on the website?
Once it's approved.
All right,
Good enough for me.
I'll entertain a motion that the minutes of the town meeting dated 13 March be accepted as written.
Make
So
it better than I
moved.
asked about it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Before we start spending money, what's the next thing that has to be done besides that? Right?
Town hall, right?
Well, what other official act has to occur? Which we're waiting on.
Have to approve it.
Thank you. The DRA has to approve it.
Oh, I thought you said you already approved it.
No, yeah.
No.
It said
waiting
for
for it.
approval.
Oh, wait, for
Okay? And that should be back
Anytime.
sometime.
Yeah,
This
I'm
month?
just leaving, yeah.
Okay? All right. Okay. Here we go. One item is the broad tax agreement. They were here but left, and maybe they'll be back. In the past, we have conducted meetings concerning people's problems paying taxes in a non-public meeting. We have now been informed that the correct way to do it is in a public meeting. Furthermore, in the past, the selectmen have at times offered a opportunity to pay, which is okay, but the interest that's accrued is excused by the selectmen. Penalties still have to be paid, and the tax itself has to be paid. We now believe that is incorrect, that there is no proper way to excuse interest or penalties for the actual tax. Apparently, someone could ask for an abatement
Thank you, sir.
as a way to reduce the bill, but someone having financial hardship is not of and by itself a reason to forego the interest. Am I saying that?
Well, you can also go by the welfare guidelines,
Mhm.
if they want, but you can't wait, you don't have to waive the interest, but you can go by a welfare guideline, so they have to provide you why they're behind on their taxes.
Okay.
And it has to be suitable enough to be, you know, why they're
Right.
behind.
But you still wouldn't waive it. What
You
the,
wouldn't
do is
waive it, you
basically
would
the
just-
welfare would pay whatever
Exactly,
they, like
exactly.
that.
You still would not waive it, but welfare can get involved, or abatement, or any of that. Correct.
I'm not suggesting the welfare would pay the taxes, but might they help with the interest? Is that a possibility?
They can help with the taxes itself,
Yeah.
if they would put,
As long
yeah,
as they qualify for welfare assistance, yeah. We pay whatever, that's,
whatever it is,
yeah,
Well, whatever we have in our budget,
right.
exactly.
it's not a lot of money,
Right.
so.
So, I certainly recognize that it's uncomfortable to come before a public meeting like this to talk about your problems paying taxes. But it is supposed to be done out in public. In fact, I think the things that can still be done in non-public are very limited. Personnel problems, personnel decisions, talking with an employee can be done in non-public, but not much else.
Legal and security, I think are your four.
Right, and if the police had concerns about a matter in town and they wanted our commission to conduct some sort of surveillance or details, that would go non-public because you wouldn't want that publicized so that the bad guys would know what's going on. Okay? All right, so maybe the Broughts will be back. Department heads, you're on, and you're second, how's that?
Okay, so I have the deeding list for 2015.
Before you go too far,
Okay,
could you give us, in 25 words or less, the difference between a lien and a deed?
okay, so a lien is when, pretty much it's just it's a lien that goes against us. We do not take the house away. It's just pretty much you're delinquent on your prior year's taxes, and then it goes to a lien. So if you ever sell the house or something happens to you, we have interest in it and we get paid.
If there's a lien, the homeowner pays interest.
Correct,
Do they pay a penalty for being late as well?
yes. Once it goes to lien, it is a penalty, I think, of $39.
But they, at least for a couple more years, still own the house.
Yep, interest
Okay.
is accruing, that's why people get so behind, because it accrues every day.
What's the rate?
It's 12%
year?
after, once you're late, but once the leaning goes into place, it's 18%, and yes, it's per year,
Wow.
it's not per day, because nobody would ever pay their taxes.
Okay.
Yeah, so we would be a really rich
All
town.
right, so what's a deed?
A deed is when you are in arrearages for 2 years. So right now I'm deeding for 2015. So, which I should say 3, but technically it's 2, because the lien got put on in 2016.
17, 18,
18.
okay.
So, but technically it's 3 years for the thing. That's when we take the house for non-payment of taxes. Or it's up to you guys. The Board of Selectmen will decide which houses to deed and which houses to not deed.
Alright.
And there's certain, you know, with not deeding, it could be because it's a hazard to us for owning it, like if the building is a hazard, or would be one of the things that you wouldn't want to deed that house.
Hazardous materials on site.
Meaning
that
like it say-
require thousands to clean up.
Exactly, yep. Or court enforcement deems it not livable or unsafe.
So while the house is being liened, the owner still owns it.
Mm-hmm,
When it goes into deeding, the town owns
Potential.
it, but the owner still has some rights.
correct.
What are the rights?
They have up to 3 years to actually pay back the
Right.
taxes if you haven't sold it yet. But they still have claim to it for up to 10 years. It's big time.
And-
Just because you take the house doesn't mean that, they have the right to buy it back with it. This one's changed, it's not a 10% penalty anymore, only if they live there. If they don't live there and it's a second house to them, they owe a 10% penalty of the assessed value to get it back, plus the back taxes.
Is it true that if a house goes into deed,
Yep,
let's say 6 months after that, another party wishes to purchase the house and land,
yep,
does the previous owner have
yeah, we had
first
to,
refusal?
yes, we had to contact the previous owner to let them know that there has been an offer made on the house, and they have every right to pay just the back taxes to us.
Okay.
So they
And
have
then
first
the
right
previous
first,
owner would still own it, even though it's been deeded.
technically.
They paid.
Yeah, exactly, if they pay
Right.
everything, yep.
We're lucky to have you. Yes,
Okay, the town takes over a property,
Mhm,
third party buys the property.
mhm.
The previous owner is either deceased and or they can't find, where does that one go?
That one's a hard one, it is, it's depending, I mean, if we notify the proper people, which we do, whoever we have on file is who we notify. And if they're deceased, they still have, obviously, they're not gonna answer you, but, depending on what if they have a will, it's deeded to the person that it all depends.
All
If-
she has to do is prove that she's tried,
yeah.
that's it, then our hands are clean.
That's why I sent out the certified and everything twice, and
And if no one answers,
Board of
then the
Selectmen
new, the
sends stuff
third
out.
party owner then has a clear title to it, and then
it will not have a clear title until 10 years, I believe.
No, I think it's 3.
Is it
I
3?
think it's 3 for the
Okay.
title.
No,
the
ma'am. No, ma'am, it's 10 years. And that's what I wanted to bring up.
fire at will, I'm not will.
Okay. The town takes the property back in 2.5 years. The buyer can buy it back from 3 years to 10 years. The town usually sells that property. The guy that buys that property is stuck because he can't get a title to it to build a house.
Right.
Is that fair to him or her or whoever?
No,
Well,
it isn't fair.
I'm not sure it's fair, but I think it's the law.
Say if you're
Come
not,
on.
but the law is.
Well,
I don't think it's Milton's.
There
law.
is something in legislation right now to cut that down to 5 years. Because too many people have been complaining about this.
So they have the right, say John buys a property and the property was only assessed at 60,000 and he puts all this work into it, another 100 grand in it. That person that owned it previously has to pay him
Everything.
everything back. So
Court
it's almost,
costs, everything.
so it's,
So really, I mean, unless you're rich, which you would have paid your taxes to
Because
begin with,
anyways.
you probably wouldn't be in that situation.
but it is a touchy feeling of selling the properties because
But we only have to keep it 3 years.
3 years.
We can sell it, then it's not our problem anymore.
Yeah.
Whether they get a title or
But one of
not.
the things people understand, town cannot make a profit, correct?
After 3 years, you can.
See, the problem is, when the town puts them up for sale, it's normally just the back taxes they're trying to collect.
Correct.
It's not the value of the property.
Yep.
Yeah,
So if somebody buys it, say, hey, I got a good deal here, I'm gonna build a house on that, you can't get a loan, you can't get the title for it.
Yep.
So what's the sense of buying something like that unless you have enough money to build a house with your own money without going to a bank? You're stuck.
Well, most people buy it, like if they're gonna buy something, the land, I mean, I wouldn't build a house, but usually people buy the houses that are already set there. So you have the insurance that will cover you.
Well, like I said, there is legislation on the books right now to knock that down to 5 years, not 10 years.
Until it is, it's 10 years. And that's only if it gets passed through, so, it may not get passed through this legislation, so.
I think the two former selectmen that are here would agree that the town of Middleton is not in the business of acquiring property. We've always tried, maybe we've tried too hard, to help people out so that they don't lose their house. Losing land is one thing, but houses, it's
Even
tough to
land,
lose
you're
your house.
losing all that money,
I
so,
think,
you
I
know.
think everybody knows that our situation is that Harriman's old property is an eyesore and probably a safety hazard. The mobile home in there
Where
is
are we
rough.
talking about?
There was on New Portsmouth
New
Road.
Portsmouth, okay.
We wanna buy it and clean it up. I don't wanna buy it, spend money cleaning it up and have them come back and
Just
say, you
what he's
destroyed our
talking about.
mobile home.
All right, yeah.
You also, when when we sell properties in the town, we go through a bidding process, so just because, and I'm not saying
No
by all
one's gonna
means,
win.
just because they go by a bidding process and the lowest, highest, not
Well,
well,
there's-
it's the highest
I'm
bid
gonna
usually
digress for
wins.
just a second. I currently have a spot that's ongoing. We had some payment plans for two people, and the boyfriend and girlfriend, the boyfriend owned the property in his name. She's not on the deed anywhere. He passed away. And they had a payment plan because they're a couple years behind in this, like, the third payment plan, they're behind them. And she has no legal right to that property, and I think it's probably what we're gonna do tonight, isn't it? Need it.
Yeah, we're, well, I was gonna wait until April 19th, but for that one, just because I'm beating whatever you guys want.
I know it's due to be done pretty
Yeah,
quick,
it is,
so I
it
mean,
is.
but
Yeah.
it's a bad situation. I
It
mean,
is.
been together for how many years like that, but never got put on the deed, whatever, so it's too bad. It's, you know, but there's nothing we can do legally about it. That's something they have to take care of in court themselves. But by the time they get through doing all that, we're gonna own it. So,
Exactly. But yeah, so I do have my deeding list.
okay.
For 2015 liens, I have $50,816 that is outstanding just for the liens.
Taxes.
The taxes, which is the liens, not the deeds yet. So that's just for 15 houses, 50 grand.
Is this lien or deeding?
This is deeding, but it's called the 2015 liens because it's already a lien on it, so. These are my reports.
Has anybody
We don't know.
contact you off this list to try to take care of this at all?
I have on this list who's contacted me, whose son is certified, who has not. The top one, Bergeron, he's trying to sell his house.
Right.
And then everybody else, is, either has signed the certified letter that's, I sent them, so they are aware of the deeding that's gonna take place April 19th, or there's undeliverable mail, which I can only go by what my current address is in my system.
All right. I'm gonna read some of the notes. It's not all public information, so
Yes.
I'm not much in hiding this. Glenn Bergeron on Beech Tree Drive.
So it's a house, anything
And the
with a
house
star is
that's,
a
I
house.
think it's either close to under contract, or he's trying to sell it, and I guess the part of selling it, the back taxes are paid.
Yeah,
Okay. Andrea Balt,
we have a contract currently with her, but again, she didn't sign it, just so you're aware, she has not signed that contract. She didn't want to tonight.
right, yeah, she was here and
Yeah.
decided not to. Okay. William Cunningham, Pine Ridge, has signed
The
a
certified,
certified mail.
noting that he's aware that it's up for deeding.
Paul Fairweather from Drew Drive, undeliverable as addressed, is,
So there's,
you got another
I don't
house.
have a
in
current address apparently for him, or that's just
Um,
land.
Is Lennis Stephen Lamers and Nicole Lamers Pond Road, which is off, I believe, Access Road, that's all right.
I think it's
Nothing's come back from the certified letters we sent yet. Janice Libby and Stephen Scannell, Eau Claire Road, unable to forward, because I guess the other address is no
Yeah,
good.
so they must have moved, or there's no forward mail. on that.
First name Jan, last name May,
We have a contract.
have a contract, Route 153. And who's this? Audie and Doris Miller, John Jones Road. You know what John Jones Road is?
Yes.
Okay. No letter back,
Yeah,
No,
nothing.
yeah. okay. George Anagos, Maple Road. Unable to forward. David Pappas, Route 153, unclaimed certified letter. Carol Ann Switzer and Michelle Albro, New Durham Road. They came and talked to us
2 weeks ago?
2 weeks
Yes.
ago, right,
And just so you are aware on that one,
yes,
they did get a discount on their home in 2015.
okay.
They were stating they did not, and I have proof that they did, so.
And I
just so you're
believe
aware.
they've made one payment since
They
then.
made one $350 payment, but I'm still waiting on what you guys want me to do with that,
Right.
property. I mean, obviously, up until April 19th, but they were wondering, they were wanting to know what was the outcome.
Next, Thomas Todd and Jennifer Todd, New Durham Road. They signed their certified mail. Robert Weiss Trust.
They're from Canada.
He lives there, Canada.
She's already contacted
Pleasant
me,
Valley
and she is aware of that deed, and she said there's nothing she's gonna do, she's not paying it, she's not, because the person that lives there, even though there's no building there, she can't get a hold of, so she said she can't afford it anymore, and she doesn't, she's gonna let it go to deed,
Where's that property at?
What
Pleasant Valley Road.
Pleasant Valley Road.
That's
It's
private,
a, it's a
that's-
foundation with a cap on it, so somebody lives there,
That's a private road though, right?
yes.
Pleasant Valley.
Oh, Pleasant Valley,
That's Ridge Road.
Oh, sweet, okay, now if you say that, then I know, okay.
Washburn was on.
Oh, it's at the end of it. Oh.
It's off, it's off 153.
Well, it's right before my house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not private.
It's Pleasant Valley is a public
I
road.
thought it was.
No, it's public,
Deer Run is private,
yes.
It
and
wasn't before.
Pine Ridge is private.
Pine Ridge, Pine Ridge.
and Adams is public.
Adams is public
here's my
and
monthly reports.
Pleasant Valley is public.
All right. So, what is your pleasure? You wanna,
I think we just need to proceed, other than the Brawl one that we, the
Yeah.
whatever, and the Schweitzer one that we were talking about.
I
Move
will-
forward with them. And no John that went up there on here, that's why I cannot buy.
yeah, well, I will help draft a letter for Carolyn Schweitzer, since I think they've been asking what's going on.
Yes.
The others,
Definitely look at and,
yeah,
Let me
you
know
go ahead,
next.
move ahead.
okay,
I mean, we're not talking March 1st, there's suddenly a problem. This has been going on.
they have a
Years.
2016 lien, they have a 2015 lien, and they
Right.
have a 2017 lien coming up. And no one's contacted me really much, except for Bergeron on that list,
All right,
and the select crew that has the contract, that
Okay.
is aware.
do you want this back?
No, those are for you guys, so
Okay.
you can,
All right,
because I need,
thank you.
The other part of her report is, for the month of
March. Yep,
took in $47,274.71. That's everything.
Okay.
that's for the, clerks.
Right.
Yeah, and then the taxes, we took a little more in there.
I believe I'm correct in saying that all of these lists, whether it's deeding or leaning, is public knowledge.
Correct,
And anyone can come in at any time and ask you or Gwen or Laura, somebody, to see the list.
mhm,
It's not like you have to come to a selectmen's meeting. You can,
they can go online and look,
yeah.
too.
All right? So, we're good? Thank you.
You're very welcome. She wants to.
It is a trying job at best when you meet people that are at their worst and you try to deal with them and not take it personally.
It's hard.
It's a tough
I
job,
feel-
I give you credit for it.
I don't wanna be in their shoes, so
Right.
why give them an attitude? They're
Yeah.
horrible.
All right, highway. Talk for a moment.
Not a lot happening. Mother Nature's trying to calm down a little bit. We have started the site work down at the highway facility. road postings are still up probably for at least a couple more weeks. Hopefully we can start pulling some gear off the trucks and doing some maintenance here pretty quick, providing the weather does stay decent. Other than that, it's kinda slow right now. Good chance for everybody to catch their breath.
On a sad note, everybody knows about Rick Washburn's parents. Both. He lost his father at the end of January, lost his mother on March 30th. 65 days apart, both parents gone. And I think they're in the 70s somewhere, okay? It's a tough road, that's the whole, get through, okay? And you were at the service on Saturday, I was there Saturday. You got a pretty heavy load. In any family, has nothing to do with Rick's family, in any family, there's usually one child, full-grown adult, who is the leader, who keeps the family together, who makes the tough decisions, and I think it's Rick. He just looks worn out. You've been seeing him, and I think you would agree, he's
Yeah, he's ill right now too.
carrying a heavy load. He has some time, and I hope he uses it before he comes back. Okay? Everybody else is doing all right? So, good. All right, what else do we have? John, oh yeah. These fire rules,
Okay,
road enforcement.
I've had numerous calls lately about lots. Lots of questions about the lots. Properties around the lake. When people look to buy a lot around the lake, they keep calling me to find out if they can do certain things. Most of the things that they're looking for are covenants that are placed by the deed
Yeah.
or the association. The town has nothing to do with that. We don't cover those things.
That's right.
I get calls all the time about that. I try and tell them, but I still keep getting the call, and basically they're from the same lots too, so.
So who enforces covenants? I know associations
The
can if they
association
wish,
president,
or could a neighbor that is aware of the covenants, could that person take,
the association has to take them to court if they have an objection to what they're doing, if they follow through with it.
right? Okay.
So, 9 times out of 10, they don't do anything because it costs the association lawyer fees.
What happens if there's no association but there are covenants?
They do what they want. As long as it doesn't affect the town, our ordinance is,
Could a neighbor take a neighbor to court over covenants?
I presume they can because they're part of the association.
No association.
No association?
Developer
If it's-
builds 12 houses, but it's not an association.
If it's in the deed, then they can take them to court because they're not allowed to do it.
Right, but not the town.
Right. Town has nothing to do with it.
All right.
I just received a package from the Office of Strategic Initiatives. And they're requiring, all it is the population. But it's very important. I have to fill this out. I have to go through the whole year's permits and find out the new or updates on houses, if they've increased size. And it's important because that's money that the town gets back through that formula as to how many units that we report to them.
Sounds like the census,
It basically, a census is what it is.
right?
But I do this on a monthly basis for the federal government. I do it on a yearly basis for the federal government. And now the state's doing it too. So I fill out the same basic reports over and over and over.
I say bring back the poll tax. and all that stuff.
Yeah, me too.
All right,
The
Anything
third
else?
thing is, and I talked to you a little briefly about this. I'm doing a survey now on the costs of electrical and plumbing and solar permits on their own. The cost of an electrical permit and a plumbing permit and a solar permit is $25. The cost of these projects can be in the thousands. Yet if you put a shed on your lot, it can cost more than one of those permits for those things. On gas, propane, or plumbing, I have to go out at least 2 times. That's not cost effective for the town. Costs you more money for me to go out and do 2 inspections than it does for what we're charging them. So what I'd like to do is I'm gonna call the surrounding towns and see what they do. See what kind of numbers they come up with. And then I will bring it back, and then I'd like to sit down with the 3 of you, or 2 of you, who's ever here, and go over that and come up with a different plan. It's really not fair to the people, the rest of the people in town. That's not right.
Rule of thumb, most places now are going on the cost of the job, 10%. I just had to pay a permit for a job over in Summersworth. It's a $5,000 job and I paid $51. So it's 10%.
I know, I paid $1,400 for a 4-car garage in Dover.
So, I mean, the biggest thing is, are they gonna give you the truth of the job cost? You know, that's the deal. So,
Well,
anyhow,
I just wanted to bring this up to you though, because I think the system that we're using right now, the way we're charging is not right, especially solar panels.
in your considered opinion, John, you said neighboring towns. Would that include Lebanon, New Hampshire, Bedford, New Hampshire, or Rye, New Hampshire?
No, towns around here that are basically the same size as us,
Those are the
that's
3
all.
wealthiest towns in the state, and I thought maybe.
I don't wanna get too far
Might be
away.
a little bit different than ours.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you. Fire departments, fire and EMS.
Wait, let me try it again, hold on, let me try it again.
I don't know why I didn't
Oh, wow.
see it there.
As report, there are some deputy wardens things. So that is mileage and hours on all the trucks. I'm meeting with 2 of the salesmen this week to finalize quotes for the ambulance. Fire calls been 27, EMS calls 31. A couple weeks ago, what, year to date? Correct. We had 6 members attend a deputy warden's training in Tufton Borough a couple weeks ago, so everybody's up to date on that. Some of the guys have never been before. And there are some deputy wardens applications right there that I need signatures on. So before I post their numbers, I'd like to make sure that that's all taken care of. And we're gonna have 2 issuing agents. So that's gonna bring us up to a total of 9 people. So we went from 2 people all up to 9. As well, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
So as well as we can get permits done online for a small $3 fee. If we don't see any of it, it goes back to the company that does the software. You can go online on a Friday night, fill it out, there's an affidavit you have to click. It's so many feet away from a building, yes, and you've gotta click it, sign it, print it out, and there's their permit. And we get a listing of everybody that's got permits when they do it that way. So I can look at, today I think we're up to, I think, a total of 5 permits so far.
Are these permits for the year or for 1 day?
Yep, for the year.
Okay.
Yep,
No.
for the campfire permits.
Okay. Is that the same as burning a pile of brush?
No,
That's a 1 day or,
that's a 1 day, you gotta get a permit, that's gotta be 50 feet away from everything.
and all those permits are $3 per whack?
Nope, if we do it, if I come out to your place or one of the other guys comes out, it's free.
Okay.
It's just the campfire ones, and it's a nice way to do it, especially with so many people coming up. they can, it's a Friday night, Saturday night, whatever.
Campfires are good for the whole season.
Yes, correct.
How does all this affect Laura, who last year, I think, issued a few permits?
Yeah,
That
it's,
might be a misnomer. I think you issued a lot of permits.
yeah, it's gonna make things a lot easier. Because all she has to do is go, you know, nope, fill it out online, and that's it. If she's an issuing agent, if she chooses to do one, she could. Same thing with Roxanne Hodgson.
So what's gonna be the process if I don't wanna go online and get the permit like that? I want you to come over and stuff like that.
Not a problem.
Make an appointment?
There's 7
One of
people
the
to
guys
call
come
from.
over.
Yep,
Last year we had business cards on the counters
yep,
for all the people that we list.
yep.
Laura, someone comes in and wants a campfire permit. And you politely say it can be done online. And they say, well, I don't have a computer. Can they use this one?
I might actually have done them online for them.
But could they do it on themselves?
No, they
Right
can't
here?
do it on here.
Oh, they can't do it, okay.
Yeah,
Could you send Bill's house and do it?
Yeah,
that's a
I've
$5
actually
fee.
done it.
Yeah,
People have put their credit card down and I just did it.
So can we
No.
do a link off of our
She
town
may as well
website?
do
Yeah,
it,
there
because she's
is-
gonna
there
wanna do
is-
it anyway.
Already, it's, yep,
Or-
Yeah.
it's been posted, yep, it's been posted on several of the social media, different ones off of Facebook that we have, so to get people knowing about it.
So if you do it, it's still $3.
If I do it online for them, yeah,
Yes,
because that's an online thing.
Right,
Yep,
okay,
if we write one out, it's free.
right.
It's just a lot easier for people. And if, one of the best things about doing it online is if there's a red flag day where there's no burning, we can send out one email and it hits everybody on that list. It says, no burning.
In general, if your sign out there says high or extreme, no burning. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So medium and low is okay.
Medium, low, that's fine. I'm gonna talk to Brucey Hunter about doing a different kind of sign instead of ones that we slide in there all the time and we're missing one or two.
A wheel?
Exactly, it's just gonna be a half circle with all the different classifications on it.
Who sets that every day?
We'll talk with amongst the wardens. I get an email, from, Department of Forest and Lands every day that says today's a class 2, 3, 4, whatever it may be.
Unless she's one of the wardens, I would hope that she's not going out there. She does enough already.
Exactly, no,
Right?
So-
no, with,
Yeah,
go ahead.
okay.
With all these new wardens that you're proposing, does this mean that you're gonna be joining the Stratford County Forest Fire Wardens Association?
Half of them already do.
Yeah, looks like you went to
Good.
a meeting here.
Because we used to have a dinner here, we used to have 2 dinners here, and we have none now.
So what, we were this close to having our first one again in the old town hall.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I didn't know that I was gonna be the warden until all of a sudden I got a package in the mail and went, by the way, you're the new warden. And by that time, it was too late. So we are already on the
Good.
docket for next year to have the
Good.
first deputy wardens done. Yep,
It's not because we weren't participating though, it's because like the attendance was so low, they started to do it like rotating around towns instead of, they did less of them.
yep.
So we were on the bottom of the list. Just, so it's not like we didn't wanna do them. The last one we did, we actually lost money, so we still did it,
Yep.
but they changed the process, there isn't as many anymore.
So now we're also available, we're eligible for more grants, more surplus federal equipment. So I've been checking into that, I've applied for grants already. So we'll find out how that goes. Last month we worked with New Durham for a firefighter CPR. So what happens if a firefighter goes down and he's got all of his gear on? We can actually have him out of his gear within under a minute. And still continuing CPR, not missing a beat. It's pretty impressive. I didn't think it could be done, but it's pretty neat. Jake Bordeaux has been promoted to captain. He is a great asset to us. He comes with a lot of experience from Milton. He was the acting chief over here for a little while years ago. So now that he's in town, he's been promoted to captain. Thursday, I'll be attending the New Hampshire Volunteer Fire Chiefs meeting over in Manchester too.
Okay, just on the forms I just signed. Let's see if I can do this in order. Deputy. I think we already signed yours for warden.
Yes,
Okay, so these are all deputy wardens.
correct.
Paul Carrier, Kenneth McMullen, Scott Bowden, Griffin Parks. And sounds like there's more coming.
Lavalette,
All right,
Jake Bordeaux.
all right. Looking back to-
You want these ones back so you send them in?
Yes, let's
Well, good, thank you for moving ahead on that. What do wardens do besides the issue of campfire permits? You folks handle?
Well, any kind of outside fires.
Right, outside
Yep.
fire, like forest fire, brush fire,
Yep.
okay? And the funding for that is not from the town per se, it's from the state.
Correct. And if there's, we don't charge to, I mean, we could charge towns for mutual aid, but we don't.
Right,
The other thing that is pretty popular right now, and we've seen them used in Milton at a big fire, was a drone. I'm not saying anything, but that was very impressive to watch that thing go up and hover. They had 5 acres burning that day. Only during hunting season. But Devin Peugeot, who's the assistant over in Milton, could watch on his screen where every single guy was, and he could send that drone over to a different area and go, hey Tommy, yeah, go to your left a little bit more, that's burning more to your left, go over there. They could see everything
all right.
from 200 feet up, it was amazing. And you could see where all the guys were. And you could go, oh no, look, you know, everything's going okay over there, move your guys over to this area. One of the big fires that happened up by Lost River was showing drone footage.
That last summer?
I think so.
Yeah.
That was, it's just amazing. You can't, to get people up into these areas, you'd have to be a billy goat to get up into there. But with a drone, you can send it up and just set it. And then it can just stay there. And they also make an infrared camera for it as well. So,
We have at least 2 pieces of equipment that are quasi-dedicated towards fighting forest fires. It's the forestry truck and the mule.
correct.
Although both can be used for what I call ordinary fires in town, or mutual aid.
Yep.
Okay, so,
We're actually bringing our truck, we're bringing the rescue and the mule to Farmington. They've got their warden's dinner. And everybody that's coming is also bringing their equipment, so everybody can see what everybody's got.
right.
And
Nice.
that mule is, the mule and the command trailer is the only one like it in the area.
Yeah.
So we're,
We've talked
We've been
about
in
the command trailer before. Is that up and operational or no?
I still have to put a generator on it. I gotta get a generator and hook it up.
And that, it'll work.
Oh, yeah, yep. Because right now it's just, I mean, if we have to use a portable one to plug into the outlet strip, it'll still work. I fired up the mule the other day. It's running fine.
We planning on buying that ambulance this year?
Yes.
I thought that's what was said at the meeting.
Yep.
I guess the days of fighting forest fires with a 5-gallon Indian pump on your back might have changed a bit.
A little bit,
That
but they're
was-
still usable.
Yeah,
We used to do that.
Fun.
Teenagers,
Oh, yeah.
you know, would do that, and they could lug that stuff through the woods hour after hour.
Yep.
It's challenging for the first 1 or 2 times. After that, it gets a little old. Okay, what else do we have? Oh, I don't know. EMS, we're okay? Talked about that, good. Oh, how about, nobody here from Emergency Management Welfare,
I've had 2 this month,
okay?
and both qualified.
All right, thank you. Planning Board,
Everything's focused now.
any big plans going on?
Just to finish the master.
Okay. I'm gonna talk about zoning for a moment. We've gone from 2 people up to 5. We went the entire year 2017 without a single meeting. Zoning board, unlike planning board, which meets every month, zoning only meets when there's a need to be. Well, we just had 1 public hearing, we got another one tomorrow night, so we've gone from nothing to 2, and there's a considerable expense on the person asking for the variance, because they have to pay to send out, for us to send out certified letters, ads in the newspaper, so, the public hearings, you can come tomorrow night, if you wanna see what's going
So
on.
what do you have to meet based on what somebody wants to do to a piece of property?
Yes, there's 2 things that the zoning board concerns itself with. The most common is a variance. For example, setbacks is the most common. You're supposed to be 50 feet from the road, and you're supposed to be 20 feet from your boundaries unless you're around the lake, when I think it's down to 10 feet because the lots are so small. If it poses a hardship, or 2 or 3 other requirements, you can apply to the zoning board for a variance, okay? For example, we just did one on the backside of the lake. You know about it, right?
You even said the backside of the
Right,
lake.
thank you. Setback is 50 feet, even on the small lots. The builder finds a stake for the corner of the property, measures 50 feet, based on a 2006 survey. Builds the house, someone wants to buy it. People want to buy it, go to the bank. The bank says, you need a survey. Norway Plans comes out and surveys it and says, this corner of the house is 48.5 feet away from the road. So they asked for a variance. I suggested a D9 bulldozer might be able to push the house back, but they didn't want that. The other reason for coming before the zoning board is for a special exception. Special exceptions are listed in the zoning ordinance. For example, a church. You're allowed to have a church if you follow certain guidelines, but you have to go before the zoning board to have a church built here. Or a park, John.
Fences.
Fences, yeah.
Fences are a big thing.
Yeah. Most fences are 4 feet allowed, but some people want 6. Height of a building, I think, is 35 feet.
Depends on where.
Okay,
Around the lake it's 25.
okay. All right, and out, the outskirts is all 35. So anyway, you're welcome to come, they're pretty interesting. We just did a site visit on a property up on Partridge. Wants to build a garage, but either has to knock down part of the house and put it in, or push it back a little too close to the boundary line, so. We'll talk about it tomorrow night. All right, anything for treasury?
Yep,
Priscilla Solvent?
yeah,
Okay, good.
hanging in there.
I always worry about that.
So, we have,
As of what, last March 31st?
yeah,
How much?
966,390.91.
Now, although it sounds like a lot of money, remember that once a month, we pay a bill to the school board, because we collect taxes for the school, okay? School does not have its own tax collector, we do it here. Once a month, we send them a check. $88,000 a month, I think is the most recent value.
Yeah.
At one time it was higher during the building, but I think it's now down to 88,000. That's every month. It's legal, that's what it costs to run the school, right? So, that goes through the money in a hurry,
What are you doing with that money?
okay? John,
Can I bring up one point on health?
sure.
Tick
Please do.
season and black fly season are just about here. If you don't believe it, I'll show you my back where I've been bitten 4 times already by ticks.
I know, my Why don't we spray?
They're already out there.
Who's in
But-
spray?
Yeah, but wait a
I'll
minute.
spray, I don't care, I'll get in the truck and start spraying.
John, are those Middleton ticks or are they out of town ticks?
Are they-
I thought they were waiting
They're half and half. I have no idea, but I'll tell you what, I've got a welt on my back. One bite is about that long and it's up, raised up like that.
I don't think that was a tick.
There's a rabbit.
Couldn't figure out what it was.
It's one of those little skeeters.
Yeah.
I don't know where it came from, but I had one of them that really did a number on me.
Speaking of which, this is open to anybody that knows, I think it's time to take the bird feeders down. Anybody had any experience already this spring or
With a bear?
bears? They're not out
Yeah,
yet?
I tell you what, if they reach my bird feeder, I'm gonna move out of the house, that's a big bear.
We forgot to bring ours in this afternoon, don't tell me that. We have one every year.
You do
Haven't
have a
seen it
bear
yet.
at the bird feeder?
Yeah?
Let me think.
Oh, yeah,
Bird
they love
feeder,
bird
bear.
feeders.
Have you thought of taking the bird feeder? No, never mind. How about
We gotta
assessing?
leave.
Anything from assessing?
No,
No. Police, any report from them? No.
no.
Animal control, no. Oh, conservation, I've offered to serve on the Conservation Commission. There's a meeting tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock with, I believe, Mrs. Vida. And maybe Tom Gardner, I don't know, anybody else on it?
Those are the two that I have on there.
Okay. Yes,
I just got an email from John Mullen about the volunteer lake assessment program. I don't know if he CC'd you on that.
no, but go ahead and speak about it if you have
Uh,
knowledge.
He's signing up for a training program. The volunteer lake assessment program is just what it says. Volunteers who augment the state biologists who check on the water quality. They train them. Once a month, they take water samples. It's only during the summer, June, July, August, and September, I think, or maybe not even that, I'm not sure, but I can email you the information. And it's a training program that's being offered so that they have enough people to make sure that Sunrise Lake and all the other water bodies in the state aren't in danger of being polluted, or so that they can be on top of any problems that crop up and solve them before they get any worse or
Right.
serious.
Nice of them to volunteer to do that.
The volunteer program is open for anyone who wants to sign up for it, and,
Yeah.
like I said, I'll email the information to you.
Okay, thank you.
I'll volunteer, Roger.
I got a boat anymore.
Let's just walk down the beach and take a sample.
Put some waders on, Roger.
I had a boat, I did.
If we're able, I'd like at some point on the Conservation Commission to talk about Tanglewood. Such possibilities to get in there. We'll see. All right, anything in the cemetery?
We're meeting.
People dying to get in? or-
Yes. We're meeting Friday. We'll probably be signing all the law bylaws and
Okay.
what. Yeah, 10 o'clock. If you're around, that property should be pretty good. Maybe you'd like to slip over, we'll go over and take a look at that property.
Meeting starts here?
Yeah.
Where's the property?
No, I don't.
That's easy. Is that empty?
No.
What the
Go
heck?
down the Durham Road.
Oh, okay,
Eastman turns to the left. Okay? As you turn left, there's a house there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? As best you can, kind of imagine where their line stops, or where the line is behind the house. Then you've got a wooded space before the next house.
On Eastman.
No, it's
Just past
the
it.
borders on,
Oh, okay,
on
all right, okay.
New Durham. There's frontage of 141 feet, and it goes back 5.5 acres, kind of behind all the houses that would be on Eastman.
Yeah.
But what's nice is, it looks like it's level, it's wooded, but it looks reasonably dry, and I think one of the requirements, correct me if I'm wrong, one of the requirements is that you should not have to drive through a heavy residential area to get to the cemetery. Well, New Durham Road is pretty easy to get to. Right? That's always been a problem with Tanglewood, unless we get a different access. You'd have to drive all the way through Lakeland Estates to get there, right?
Who owns the property now?
We don't,
Town.
town does.
So if you think you'll be here so we can go over and take a look?
Yes. I've shut my phone off, but I'll check.
Make sure
this
you,
out.
bring your chicken mosquito repellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will.
Front line, you take like front line.
Yeah, we'll take a walk out
They
there.
make them that big now?
Yeah, I'll just wear the dogs.
Speaking of you,
Uh-oh.
got a call during the week from Northern Exposure Traders. They own 3 lots.
Oh, yeah, they want that tower down there.
They called me up and said, Mr. Hotchkiss, are you looking for a place to put your tower? I said, no, but maybe a cemetery. It'd be a great place for a cemetery, except the town would have to buy it.
Right, where is it at?
Well, it's the corner, at the intersection of Kings Highway and Pinkham. It's down
They
here.
were looking at that.
It's already been cleared, but you have to buy it. And wherever we go, you're gonna have to, if it's
Yeah.
5 acres, you don't have to do the whole thing, but I would think at least 1 acre would have to be cut, logged off, stumped, get all the rocks out,
Yeah.
some sort of road put in. Alright, so
There's some
that's all
people,
gonna cost money.
there's some people that help us set that up, so the next acre you gotta do, you
Right.
can adds on, so, you know, they help you with the plot plan and all that.
I mean, down there at the highway, new site for highways, that's 5 acres. And we had that logged for some money, and now it's being, site cleared, that he stumped some money. So all of this is gonna cost money. On the other hand, we could continue to do nothing, which really means we continue our contract with the town of Wakefield to bury indigent people. How much, Laura, do you know?
$1,200 a year.
And we pay that no matter what, Laura, just,
Right.
that's
Yeah,
just
it's
the
the
contract.
grooming of the land and stuff, yeah.
Okay, for example, if I wanted to be buried in Wakefield, I would pay. The money that the town is putting forth each year is for indigent people. They can't afford to be buried anywhere.
Oh, that'd be me.
There you go. There's money hard at work.
Toast.
And-
Post it.
Oh,
Get a permit,
yeah.
just
Get a permit. Online, $2.
Get a permit from Billy.
To go cook burgers.
It's a barbecue.
Where did we, yes, go ahead. I guess.
Just for the record, so for Roger to hear this too. In the state of New Hampshire, you can bury your own dead.
just can't get
What
across.
you do is, you sign as the funeral director on the death certificate. And you can actually purchase a casket, I think royal casket down in, south of Portsmouth. Seabrook? I think they sell
Don't ask.
the cheapest casket, and they really look pretty nice. They're a couple of $100s. You can transport the body yourself then as the funeral director. You can take it to the crematorium. That's generally another $200 to under $500, so for less than $1,000. And I'm hoping that with our new cemetery, you will have a place for cremated remains as well as.
Yeah, we're working on that too. Yeah, I wanna go over, like I say, when we meet Friday, I'll ask the other 2 board members who are here at the time, because John is out in Arizona, but I wanna take a ride over to Alton and find out what it cost them for their crematorium,
Yeah,
their crypt or whatever it is.
just for the record, if we would indeed have any indigent people or anything like that,
Yeah.
it is possible to do a cremation for far less than what the industry would like you to spend.
Roger and his committee have a whole host of conditions that would be put on our cemetery. Do you allow headstones, or is it just
Yeah.
flash? Okay? Do you allow doubles? 12 feet down, 6 feet down? Takes less space.
Do you allow them upside down?
Do you allow,
I like that one.
About lying. People want to be buried touching the earth. There is a religion out there.
I was thinking something different, but.
Where the person is buried, the crypt is put on top.
do you include plans for mausoleums?
I think you should think some money, you're sort of
Buried in the
touching the ground,
in the
so.
wall.
In the winter time, mausoleum.
No, I'm talking about mausoleums that are
Oh, yeah,
100 feet.
200 feet high. No.
I don't know, 25, well, 35, yeah, that's right.
200 feet high. We put a
People
tower
pay
on
attention
it.
to that.
It's multi-purpose.
You have to put a
Cell
seat on the
tower.
top.
You get all these comments, Laura?
I got some that's kind of, we're putting dead people on a cell tower plot now.
Yeah,
Uh,
we're gonna work on it. We're gonna have that, hopefully we're gonna have that done by the end of the year. So that there's somebody doesn't know where, we can go ahead and we'll start working on it.
Chief,
Guy in the back. What can we do about the,
Nothing.
the security system for the department? We talked about that key fob system.
in your budget?
Well, it was in the, we were gonna do it in the budget and then it got put into something
Okay.
else.
Then I think we gotta take a look at the budget and see where we are with it in terms
Okay.
of trying to do something or not do something.
Considering that situation seems to be recurring, we do something that's like at least
Yeah, we have-
semi-permanent.
This is put in by a company that they do this for a living versus other people that have been trying to, and it's transferable from one building.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Had an interesting conversation, we just talking about general things here. Joe, I don't know if you knew, but I was in here working, without mentioning any names. There's a large parcel of land on Mount Jesse that the town has owned since the 1990s. Does that sound right?
Yep, 1999.
Someone might be interested in it. It is, I think, 240 acres the town has been holding on to for 18 or 19 years. Okay? So, stay tuned. We'll see if anything comes of it.
Where is that on?
Go up Kings
Your
Highway.
uncle's land.
Who's?
Your uncle.
Really? George's?
It's in the rough area where Sandy Brutal lives, at least
Yeah.
the road that goes up to it is up in there someplace, and at some point, it must be near the New Durham line. Does that sound
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Pam and I were,
Was that when we went?
that's where we were up there, yeah.
That was
a hike.
the one place I was looking for.
Yeah.
No, I know the road that goes up
We
there.
decided
goes
it's
straight.
not a good
Yeah,
place.
yeah, right, but I mean, if you go, right, if you go to
You
left,
go
it goes
right,
east.
you go to Eastman's. You go straight, you go through Morris Tufts,
Okay.
and then to George Tufts is okay.
But what's his
Good
name?
blueberry land up there.
Yeah.
Very pretty up
Jim
there.
Mellon.
Yeah.
Anybody else been up there?
Oh, yeah.
The land is like this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so let it go.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
no kidding.
Tick City too.
He had an issue.
Well, but those are middle.
Middleton ticks are okay.
No, it's really tough to keep up
Well,
with coming down is pretty easy.
That's all, that's
Those
all.
bad
That's
Yeah,
something
those bad
last
ones.
summer with, Georgiana, and that's all grown up.
Yeah,
It used to be, cause it used to be,
Blueberry fields.
yeah, cause that's my, yeah.
Still is.
But, no, but I mean,
Top of
it
blueberries
was
up there.
actually picked for blueberry, now it's all, I mean, there's.
No, there's still.
No, there is, but I mean, it used to be
There's a-
maintained so that it could, because they used to have, like, there used to be a camp up there and everything.
is there
So
a
from-
barn up there?
There used to be, there's probably like a cellar, I would guess there might be some type of cellar.
Last time I was up there,
hole.
the blue house still,
Yeah.
they're still up.
Oh, so
Yeah.
was, yeah.
All right,
Last one's cool.
anybody, school board?
That would be me. So,
But you can talk. Bob?
just stop. So we realigned positions. So Andrea is the chair now, and Ken is the vice chair. We talked about, well, starting today, school is getting out 15 minutes later every day until May 17th to make up for the snow day.
Pain in the butt.
And then, we have a projected fund balance of $500,000. And some of the things that they're thinking about spending their portion is parking, maybe a generator, maybe a path to the, playground, or fixing the drainage around the playground. Possible more parking.
Don't they have a path for this?
Yeah, it's already passed.
No, it's just
To the
dirt.
ball
It's
field,
the-
from the playground.
They're thinking about a better path, like,
Yeah.
for people, for kids.
Because it goes down like this, I mean,
Kinda
it's
steep.
It's steep. Mostly in the icy and snow. The kids don't mind.
And he talked about, oh, I don't know, a fence around the
No,
pond, the body of water there.
You should.
Not yet.
Maybe can you bring that back?
I think you should.
Suggestion. Just saying.
You know, it would really help if you moved, if
Go
people
to the
want
meeting
that
on
fence.
Wednesday night?
Yes,
I
for
don't
people
have
to
to
come.
come there, so I.
John?
Has anybody talked about putting siding on the utility building yet?
Not siding as of that, but they talked about, maybe finishing, who's gonna finish the building? The shed, so they were gonna look into that.
The money was in the budget for that, and it still is, it was encumbered. That money
I
was
think there was money
encumbered.
in the budget for
For
school
the
bus
past
drivers,
2
but
years.
just that now we've done either.
Yeah, there was also money in the budget for the school bus drivers to get a raise that was
They,
not
yeah,
done.
it's up to them. Are they gonna bring back the skiing program, do you know?
I don't think so.
Don't get me started
I
on
don't
it.
think so.
I think they should.
And so far, all the work on that building was done for nothing.
That's right.
Labor was completely zero, and they still haven't finished the siding on it.
And
How
the last
long has
time-
that been since we did that?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Please do it.
And,
And I had a guy that wanted to put the siding on, and nobody took him up on it. For nothing.
one selectman's point of view, although I think the present and former selectman might agree, I would hope that as the school board moves along, that you allow conversations such as we've been having here for the past hour. I think it's so important that people get
I brought up the
involved.
subject and
Joanne brought that up, and,
it's taken under advisement.
yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
but you go to both meetings, you see a difference,
No.
okay? No,
Oh.
between us
Oh,
and
yeah.
the school
No,
board.
absolutely, yes. One of the things I think I will, I'll put this out, it's kind of touchy to put it on Facebook, but I can at least put it into my column. If you can't make the school board meetings, you can email the person who's the chair or whatever, so.
That'll be Andrea.
If you want fence around the pond, email Andrea.
Oh, Andrew's gonna fall.
Not just that, but you
Well,
need to have people show up
Yeah.
and just ask why it's not been done.
I have a question, actually.
There is quite a bit of
You want
fund
the
Chair
balance
and
there.
co-chair.
If you
Why is
want
it always
to-
the two same people doing chair and co-chair? Why doesn't it ever, like, go around?
Well, it probably will, but
mean,
don't,
last
I wouldn't
5
want,
years.
I wouldn't want to be chair, I
I
don't
think
know.
you should.
You're a
Step
big
it up a
help,
little.
you're a big help, you just wait.
Oh, I was just wondering, I just. I
girls,
noticed-
don't let it.
I'm gonna start looking into this right here.
Boy, that was loud.
No, I think there is quite a bit of fund balance that there should be some things done.
Awesome.
No,
Because
budget,
they have to
budget,
spend
co-
it, doesn't
budget committee should take note.
Yes,
There you
budget
go.
committee needs
They
to
should
do
be,
that.
they don't need to spend that.
They'll lose it if they don't, right?
John, I've been in a lot of these school board meetings and I've watched you try to talk, so thank you for your efforts. One of the problems that I see with the school board versus the town is, if you've got a question about the town, you come to this building, you ask her, Joe Ryan, you can ask us, Roger's often here, you can get an answer. Tammy, where do you get an answer about the school? The principal is not there to answer our questions, she's there to run the school. How do you approach a school member? Do you have to go to Kingswood?
I haven't quite figured that out yet, but I'm trying.
Okay.
I can tell you if I have an issue with the school,
Can I-
had to go to the principal.
I can elaborate on this if you don't mind.
Please
Not
do,
school board.
because it's frustrating that
It is very
we have this
frustrating.
beautiful
John,
school,
you've been on
and there's not a lot of, communication going on.
Right.
It's a circle.
And I know John's an ex-school board member, but my understanding is the school board, from what they are telling everybody, set policy only. The superintendent and the Governor Wentworth system financially run the school. Okay, so, but it's my understanding, in my mind, that we, the school board, hired the SAU to take care of the financial part of the school for us. I mean, that could have gone to anybody if they wanted to pay the money, okay? So, basically, it's my personal opinion, I think that the school board ultimately makes the decision, because they're the one who entered into the contract for them to do our part of the financial thing for the school. So, they do the budget, they send the budget down in whatever form they want, the budget committee to approve or whatever. It's my understanding they have a committee that prior to the budget coming to the budget committee, they sit together for a couple hours and go through the numbers that are going to be presented to our budget committee. And I don't know how much goes into it, not being there, but a couple hours to go over a budget that big, I think would take more than 2 hours to take care of it. I mean, how long does it take us to take care of the town budget? Months, multiple meetings, and they can sit down and have a meeting in 2 hours to present to the budget committee, who now can request certain information and whatever. But, as far as the school board, they make policy supposedly only.
They don't get involved with the day-to-day activities
But
of
they
it.
can't school, just so you know.
So, John.
A point that you have to bring up though, Joe, is the largest portion of the budget is basically controlled by the SAU 49.
Okay.
Those numbers are put together by them because most of it is insurance, teacher salaries, those type of things. So the largest portion of that budget is set by them. Very small amount is set by the school board here. Very small.
So we have an outside town or system telling us what our budget for the school is going to be no matter what.
No, it
Wow,
still
that's
goes
not
to the board. It still goes to the board.
It's based on the way the contract is set to match the tuition agreement we have with Kingswood, and their SAU determines what the tuition costs and teachers' salaries and
And that part, look, I got no problem with that part of the whole thing.
predetermined.
My problem is the disconnect that me as a taxpayer, if I go to the school board and ask a question, you can't get a question answered from anybody because they won't answer something. This one out there over here will have to give to the SAU. You never get an answer from them. It's a complete circle where nobody answers nothing. Nobody answers anything. It's been that way since the school's been built. I mean, I'm frustrated as a selectman to have people ask questions and not get an answer.
Have a child in the school and see how you
So,
feel.
I mean, it's not the way it's supposed to be.
You're frustrated.
This whole school,
I think
the whole school concept was, when the school was being built, is like, everybody sitting down, kumbaya, we're all holding hands saying, this is gonna be great for the community. It's a community center, it's gonna be this. It's been everything but that, unfortunately. And that's my personal, for the record, my
As a
personal opinion.
taxpayer, I'm paying taxes to buy books, and I have absolutely no input as to what our children are being taught. I have no input as to what books are selected that I'm paying for.
Tammy,
Right.
I'm just picking on you because you're our newest representative.
Of course.
You're gonna report all this back to the school board, right?
Hey, read it
If someone
online.
has a question
Watch
about
out, they
the
shoot the
town,
messenger.
they can ask the people that are here, or this meeting, who was here, the fire chief, you can ask him directly, planning board directly. If you have a concern about the highway department, talk with Ed or Rick, okay? You have questions about the budget committee, you're here. That just doesn't seem to happen with the school. John, you're here, but you're here in a different position than
Yep.
the school board.
But I'm gonna try and answer that for you. How many people do we see at the school board meetings from the town? Other than the board members and the SAU?
If you're lucky to,
Not very many.
Thank you.
Joanne,
Because you're not allowed to
That's
talk.
number one. Number two,
That's
if you
why.
have questions about how the school run, that's why the principal is there. She will answer every question that you ask her, and
this-
she's very good.
Then
No.
how come I ain't got
I have a child in
CIP?
school. No, she's not.
She will answer every question that you ask.
That's a lie.
well,
I have
That's
a
a
child
lie.
in school, and that is a lie. Complete lie.
Well,
And the reason why people don't go to the school board meeting is you're not allowed to talk.
yeah.
Once you raise your hand, you're like, oh, no.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why
You
it's
gotta
not worth it.
Sit there for 2 hours,
Yep.
and then you get 5 seconds, and they'll table it, and that's it.
There's
Why
no
should I go?
conversation. It's, all right, yes, public forum, beginning and end of the meeting.
yeah.
And just what you said tonight, we'll take it under advisement. There's no give and take. You don't get any answers. You're just as frustrated as some of the audiences. You kept trying to get answers.
I used to ask questions all the time, did I not?
Yes.
Yeah, and how
Did
many
you ever
times-
get your answers?
And how many times did you put in for that parking lot over there, and all what they said?
Anyway,
I would've used the appropriate,
Yeah, the actual.
but I didn't do that.
well,
We all know.
My portion of it was, I wanted to get the school built. That's what my whole intention was. It got built and I got out.
At the meeting on Wednesday, I will ask them if they've taken it under advisement and what their decision is.
but thank you for being here.
Yes, thank
Okay.
you.
This is
How do you
not-
like it now?
No, this is not our,
No, honestly,
it's not a
honestly,
jump on you, because
no.
you know what it's been about.
That's one of the reasons why I decided to run, is
Right.
because it is a circle and it's not run like this meeting
Right,
where people feel welcome to come.
Exactly.
If you
talk.
want the planning board to come, tell me, and you know, I'll be there for you every month. What's going on in.
Wednesday night,
You know, what's.
Yeah, this Wednesday.
Yeah, but, you know, if I'm gonna get 2 minutes at the end of the thing and I gotta sit there for 6 hours, I ain't gonna do it.
I agree.
I ain't gonna do it.
but I'm bringing up that subject and I need somebody to back me up about, hey, we'd like to talk during the meeting.
Yeah.
And I would love to see people come demanding that fence.
well,
I would love it.
you got a meeting this Wednesday, at 6:30.
6:30, I'll be there. You want the fence?
Because I think that fence
I'll get
needs
you
to
the
be done.
Yeah.
And now's the time.
Would there be something if every single South Bay person in this room showed up Wednesday?
Yeah. It would be very nice.
6:30 Wednesday, okay.
All right. Anything else?
I just got one thing.
Go ahead, please.
You guys, where Joe's been there too, we've sent letters, we've talked to him, we've talked to the school board, we've talked to the SAU, I have, my secretary has, you gotta give me a CIP.
Wait a minute, what's CIP? Capital Improvement Plan.
You've gotta give me something, because if I can't put nothing in there, guys ain't gonna get nothing.
The biggest part about the CIP is, this only helps the town. We submitted the CIP
I
already,
remember when we did it with the rec.
okay? So part of the
Long time
CIP
ago.
is, it helps you in the town to get grant money, all that other stuff, okay?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, with the school here, okay, we sent it in without the school. We've been asking, since I've been on the planning board, can you give us something? Well, the school's being built. Can we get something the school built? Still nothing. We sent it in, we don't
If
care.
you can ask.
We don't care no
I'll
more.
ask.
Because, you know, if a development comes in, you guys might want a new school bus. Well,
And help get that.
We, as a planning board, can say, hey, look, we're gonna need a new school bus. And have them buy the new school bus.
Have they ever given a CIP?
No.
No.
And when did you start asking for it?
Well, how long have I been selecting on the
Well,
planning
let me
board?
see, I was on the school board and I probably asked about a dozen times. And I got 0 for an answer.
So,
And now the school's built, it's just getting us
You should
information.
have.
yeah, just keep bugging them if you can for us. I'll be there, I'll bug them too. I'll be there Wednesday night.
All right, may we move on? Bids have gone out for renovations to the kitchen. They'll be opened on Monday, April 23rd. If you know of anyone who's a contractor and wants to rehab that kitchen, the specs are in Laura's office, is looking for 2 separate bids. A pretty detailed bid on carpentry and a much more general bid on electrical. Since a lot of the electric's already done, we'll have to put some outlets in, some switches, so forth, power strips. Right. Looks like there's a final L-chip walkthrough on April 30th. That's for the main part of the building. Okay, upstairs and downstairs. All right. So,
What do we do with the chair out?
what's that?
What about-
The wheels of government seem to move slowly. We cannot get a 30-yard dumpster in here until the roads aren't posted. We can't start demolition until DRA approves our budget votes on March 13th. So I'm thinking, as soon as I can get in here to the roads, then we can get that set up.
On
Then
First May.
I'm gonna try to get a crew together to do
Sounds
the
like about the
destruction.
time you
Yeah,
were looking at a contract
Yeah.
and starting.
yeah. But if anybody has a contractor or electrician in mind, please have them see Laura for a list of the specs that we're looking for, and then get it in by 12 noon, 2 weeks from today.
Do you have it here now?
You can get one off the computer. Okay.
John,
It's all
did they
online.
pick the cabinets?
It's online?
John,
What's
did they,
that?
did they pick the style of the cabinets? Did they get the beadboard
Well, within
ones?
reason, John Mullen has some ideas.
I like those beadboard ones.
Yeah, that's the one that he likes, and I think we'll be going with that.
Oh, good.
We've already decided it can go on a nice wooden floor, okay? We will build the wall for the room, we've changed the dimensions a little bit on that, but I will go back to Brian Lonnet to get the right estimates now for the size. You said there's a place you can get good used kitchen furniture, like steel tables and so forth.
Yeah, there's a bunch of restaurant companies that they go in and buy out
I
restaurants and
think
stuff
there's
like that.
one just,
There's one in Portsmouth, right on Route 1.
yeah, I think there's
Portsmouth,
also
Portland,
one heading
Manchester,
towards-
they're all over the place.
I'd like to go take a ride down and look at them so I know it's there.
Yeah.
Sure.
That might be, I don't think we always need nice cabinets, there's sometimes you need open shelves to put stuff on, okay? All right. Well, oh, last question for you, Tammy, please. I heard in the news that because of all these snow days, many school districts are behind the 8 ball in terms of getting all this in, all these days in. There's talk of moving from required number of days to required number of hours. Are you folks gonna consider that?
I don't know, I'll ask them.
Okay. I think you have more flexibility with the hours. Okay. All right. Any new business? Any public participation? Doing that all day long.
You have now the copies of what has been submitted to the SAU, to Kingswood, to Kingswood, to the guidance counselor for the for the scholarship program. We've set the criteria
Yeah.
for the scholarship, we've formulated our own application, and we'll go to the students.
I see the collection box right there. Good.
And if we would just get $1 from every citizen in the town,
That would be major.
that would be amazing.
Thank you. Anything else for the good of the town?
Make a motion that we adjourn
I'll
at
second.
7:54.
I got home.
All in favor?
8 o'clock.
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting
adjourned.
American
Thank you
Idol.
for coming.
Get used to it, you get beat up on it.